Imagine walking alone in a dark forest at midnight, and suddenly you hear footsteps behind you. But when you turn around, there's no one there. What would you do? Jack was a nature photographer who loved exploring remote locations. One day he decided to camp in a deserted forest he had recently discovered. The place was eerily quiet, untouched by civilization. During the day, everything seemed fine. He took breathtaking photos, enjoyed the peaceful silence, and set up his camp before sunset. But as darkness fell, something changed. The air grew heavy and the silence became unnatural. As he sat by the fire, he heard it for the first time. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, crunching the dry leaves just beyond the trees. Jack froze. He turned his flashlight toward the sound, expecting to see an animal. But there was nothing. Just darkness. Then, he heard it again. Closer this time. A low whisper slithered through the cold air. "Leave now." His breath hitched. He spun around, the beam of his flashlight shaking in his trembling hand. No one was there. His instincts screamed at him to leave, but he forced himself to stay. Calm. It had to be the wind, right? Ignoring the pounding in his chest, he retreated to his tent, zipping it up tightly. At exactly 3:07 a.m., something scratched against the fabric of his tent. Long, slow, dragging claws. Jack held his breath. The scratching stopped. Then a handprint pressed against the thin fabric of his tent. 5 fingers, unnaturally long, pushing against the material as if trying to feel him from the other side. Jack couldn't move. He couldn't breathe. Then, in a voice that sounded like it was coming from inside his head, it whispered again, "You're not supposed to be here." Morning came, but Jack didn't dare step out of his tent until the sun was fully up. When he finally unzipped the entrance, he saw footprints surrounding his tent. But the worst part? The prints only had 3. And they all ended abruptly, as if whatever left them had simply disappeared. Jack never camped alone again. Because that night, he realized something terrifying. He wasn't alone in the forest, and whatever was out there, it knew his name. Subscribe for more terrifying stories. Leave a comment. What would you do in Jack's place?